following video will take you through the process of converting on-field GPS data into useful match fitness training and rehabilitation programs for the Pacer Performance System software and Curve 3 and Force 3 model treadmills. This demonstration video was performed using Fitness Technology Pacer software on Woodway Curve 3 treadmill. It goes through the process of how to apply GPS data to set meaningful training programs using Fitness Technology Pacer software on Curve 3 and Force 3 model treadmills. Step 1 is how to convert a CSV format file into a meaningful training program using Excel. We're going to start by opening our GPS to Pacer program converter. So we'll open an Excel spreadsheet with entry points for time in seconds and velocity in meters per second. So we'll now go and open our raw data. This is a CSV file they normally come in. Here you can see our time and velocity data. All rows of it. We'll start by selecting our velocity. So if we simply click in the top cell, then hold down Shift Control and the down arrow, it will select all data points. Right click and copy. Now take that data to our GPS converter program. Right click in the first cell and Control V to paste. This puts the data into the cells. Now go back to our raw data, and here we notice that the time is in 0.2 second intervals. So we'll go back to our GPS converter. First cell 0.2, second cell 0.4, third cell 0.6. Select these cells. Mouse over the corner of those three selected cells, left click and drag down to fill in the rest of the cells. So we take that down to the end of our velocity data. Alright, there we are. You can see here we've got 119.8 seconds worth of data. So this is basically a 2-minute trial. Once we've done this, you'll notice we get our averaged velocity over 10-second periods. So the first cell uses these 2 points here between 0 and 10. Second cell between 10 and 20. Third cell between 20 and 30, etc. All the way down. You can vary these to change it to say a 5 or 10, 15, whatever period you want to average the velocity over. So select all these cells. We can get rid of the cells that aren't used. Once we've done that, we've got our data set there. We also have our maximum velocity for the average velocity periods. Select there, obviously from that cell there. And now go to sheet 2. Going to sheet 2, we can see our data set here. So we'll go in and we'll get rid of the unused portions. As you can see, it only goes up to 110 seconds, so we'll remove those values. And then we have the control variables over here. So basically what we've done, we've got our peak velocity, so you can enter a percentage of the peak velocity to determine the minimum velocities for each movement category. So if I change this to say 15% of our peak velocity, that means anything above 0.92 will be considered a walk. At 35% of our peak velocity here, anything above 2.15 will be considered a jog. Anything above 3.38 will be considered a run, and anything above 5.53 will be considered a sprint. Here I'm just going to go back and change that walk to 10. This then gives us our suggested velocities to use as our pacer program velocities. As you can see, velocity for pacer programs. Basically what this does is it takes a midpoint between 0.61 and 2.15 and sets that as the velocity for walk. Midpoint between 2.15 and 3.38 sets that as velocity for jog. There is also the option to manually enter the values you want. In this case we have done that because it's just a trial as a demonstration. What you can do here is copy those values straight into these final cells if you don't want to manually enter your own. Okay, once we've done that, we can go to the third sheet, and this gives us our final file. So basically we want to select these, copy down till we get to our last trial. Okay, we've got it there. We'll just remove that one. This gives us a program we can copy straight in and paste straight into the pacer software. First of all though, we need to put in our final line. Just paste that in and enter a time for our final start. So obviously since we're going up in 10-second intervals, that'll be 1:20. That gives us our complete set. Step 2 will show you the process for copying and pasting the Excel file into a pacer program using the Program Manager function. So now we can go to our pacer software. Open up the pacer. Go to our Program Designer. Click on New. And go back to our spreadsheet, select all the data down to the finish line. Right click and copy. Back to our pacer. Click in the first cell and hold down Control and click on V to paste in. We can then save this file. I'm going to call it 2-minute trial. Give it any name you want. Click on Save. And we have that file in place. We can go back to our dashboard and we're ready to run our program. We'll now take you through the process for running the pacer program you've just created. We can then go into our Options tab, make sure there's no one on the treadmill and click 0 vertical force. The Program Designer and load the trial we just created, the 2-minute trial in this case. You can see the trial loaded. We go to Dashboard, make sure we have counting stage, visual cues and sound cues all checked, and then get the athlete onto the treadmill. And click on Run Program and the program will start. Now in the top left hand corner of the program screen you'll see numbers, in this case in yellow. This means they are within a metre of the target distance.
Run.
When they go to red, it means they are a metre behind or more of the target distance.
Jog.
Yellow once again within a metre of the target distance.
Walk.
And when it goes to green, they are a metre ahead of the target distance. Also notice in the centre we have a heart rate monitor because they're wearing a heart rate belt. And when it goes to red, they are a metre behind or more of the target distance. Also notice in the centre we have a heart rate monitor because they're wearing a heart rate belt. And when it goes to green, they are a metre ahead of the target distance. Also notice in the centre we have a heart rate monitor because they're wearing a heart rate belt. So you can see their heart rate in real time, and also on the right hand side we have the percentage of trial completed.
Sprint. Jog. Walk. Walk.
Now approaching the
Jog.
end of the trial. You can see that he's 19 metres ahead of his target distance.
Program
We have
finished.
107% of total distance covered. You can now double click on the screen to get back to the dashboard. Step 4 is to save the data so you can use it in later applications. Click on Save Trial to save the trial. Let's go through to save it as 2-minute trial. Click Save. This means you can come back and analyse the data at a later time. Step 5 will take you through a short demonstration of using the graph and report functions in the Pacer software. We're now going to go in and have a look at the data we just collected. So if we go to Open Trial, select the trial that we've just recorded, and we go into our graphs page. First we're going to look at our velocity against our target. So we hit report from here, we get the full report over the whole trial, giving us our velocity, average peaks and time of peak, power, average peak, time of peak, horizontal force, average peak and time of peak, and vertical force as well. We also get our split times for the whole trial. The split times are based on our options tab, of course. Go back to our graphs page. Now if we want to focus on a certain part, we can simply left click and drag the mouse to select the portion that we want to focus on. Release the mouse, it will zoom into that section. I'm just going to reduce that again. We want to hit our report button. Now it reports on that section of the graph that we've selected only. So now we're only looking at their values for the sprint stage. We can go back to our graphs, left click and drag towards the top left, and then it will zoom back out. Hit the report button again and it goes to the whole trial. We can also look at their distance over time, velocity, acceleration, power, horizontal forces, vertical forces, and also their heart rate. For more information and a copy of the Excel spreadsheet for GPS data to Pacer Performance System file, please contact us at info@fitech.com.au.